Welcome to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Jody Walls.
I'm Brady Brock.
We're with Gumtree Mortgage here in New Albany over on Starling Avenue. We specialize in home financing needs, whether it's a purchase, a refinance, or new construction.
And we're super passionate about trying to help you find the home of your dreams, help you get it financed, just like this one right here.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Game. You come out and hit them in the mouth on the first play, we're going to be fine.
I'd like to welcome you today to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Paul Henry and David Good. The show is brought to you by
Gumtree Mortgage, Jody Walls, Brady Brock. Those guys at Gumtree Mortgage support us every year, but we appreciate what they support. So if you got any mortgage needs, make sure you go see those guys.
Well, Coach, went down to South Pontotoc and handled our business. Now we're rolling into the next game 8-0, right?
Yeah, another game. We've had a couple of them lately that, just or more talented than our opponent right there. You still got to focus, still got to have a good week of practice, go in. Make sure you don't open the door. That's what we talk a lot. We don't want to do anything that gives them a little momentum, gives them a chance to think they can play with us. So, played well, got after it, won big. I'm proud of being undefeated, proud of winning the division. Those guys, proud of these seniors and these juniors. Those guys have been in the program a while, having that success for sure.
Yeah, sounds good. Division II 4A champions.
Yeah, that's the goal every year, but it's been since 2012 that New Albany's won it. I've been close a couple times. I know we were real close our first year with Senatobia, lost a close game against them. But yeah, you better enjoy them because it's something that is hard to obtain, it's hard to get to. So we're excited about it.
Now, what year is this for you here in New Albany now?
This is year 7.
Year 7.
Been here. Seems like a long time. It's such a great place. But New Albany's home. We were here when I got out of school. We were here 3 years with Coach Price and that staff, and then went 4 years to Lafayette, 2 years at Tupelo, then came back. So been here a while now, 7 years.
So I get this is probably 7 years in. You've had your junior high, so 6 years it takes you to kind of cycle through your program, right, and running your program.
These guys have been through the junior high and us. We've been here the whole time. The whole time they've been playing football at New Albany. Our staff and these guys, our coaches, have been here. So excited about that. Guys like Jeb and Braden and some of these other seniors, Zion Robinson, DJ Robinson, all those guys, Isaac Gilbert, those guys have been here a long time with us.
Well, kind of makes you think, that Jeb and them would have been 6th graders that year trying out for 7th grade football when you came, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Roughly in that. So it kind of hits home seeing them go all the way through. And
well, you just 7 years, like I said, it's a long time, but you try to chip away at things, try to do things right. Instill a work ethic, confidence, but also just a routine, and this is how we do things here. And I think that's what we've done. It's paid off. Having the same coaching staff, we haven't had a whole lot of shake-up.
Right.
We've added a piece here, moved a piece there, but guys like Coach Murphy, Colin, Coach Sanks, Coach Kerbo, all those guys have been here a long time with us, and it makes the day-to-day easier. They know what to expect out of me. I know what to expect out of them. And then you add pieces like Coach Summers. We've got Coach Cox back. I know Coach Plunk. So really fortunate to have the coaching staff we've got, the players we've got. Just excited about where we are as a program.
Right.
Scored 50 points for the second week in a row. You got to be proud of your offense.
Yeah, I think the past 3 weeks, I think we've had 148 points. That's by North Pontotoc and South Pontotoc. So weaker division opponents right there. But you're still happy the way it's clicking. Braden, it starts with Braden. He does a really good job for us, makes a good decision. A completion percentage is something we focus on a lot, and it's way up there. He's on the year, he's right around 70%, maybe just under it. But that's huge. We talk a lot about our quick passing game being an extension of a run game. We may not go out there and run the ball 30 times, but we're going to take short passes, take what the defenses give us. So anytime those guys are playing well, it's exciting. DJ's been running the ball well. You've seen guys like Jeb doing what he's done a really good job. But you've also seen some young guys factor in. Xavier Coleman's playing a lot. You've got a guy named Cam Ray that's scored touchdowns in the last 2 games. That's going to be a big part of the offense and the team for the next 3 years. So excited about that. Offensive line's playing well. They've been clicking offensively. We're excited about that.
You mentioned Braden. This past week, 14 of 19 for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also rushed for 2 times for 30 yards and a touchdown. On the year, 99 completions at 138 attempts, 1529 on the yards, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And you mentioned completion rate. I've got him at 72%. So that's
pretty good, pretty salty.
Well, you know, and you talk about stats and yards right there. The last 3 games we ran the clock the second half.
Right.
You know, so he's been the offense, and him and those other guys, whether it's DJ or Jeb or all those guys that, you know, are stat guys that do a lot of production. We get a lot of production out of. They're doing it on limited reps because of the clock running. So, you know, he's done a great job. That completion percentage, 72%, is really, really good. That's phenomenal. But more than that, he knows what to do on every play. He can get guys lined up if they don't know what to do or whatever. He can make adjustments. He can fix things. If we're in a bad play, he can get us out of it. You know, he does a great job extending the plays. If the play breaks down or if pressure comes in his face, he does a good job eluding it and keeping plays going. So it's not just one thing that Braden does super well. It's a lot of different things that he's very good at that makes him the player that he is.
DJ, 9 carries, 102 yards and a touchdown. Also 4 receptions, 55 yards and a touchdown. He kind of took over the running back this week for you. Give Nemo another week off.
Yeah, Nemo's a guy, you know, that got hurt against that late in the Senatobia game, big game. So he's been out battling that ankle injury. DJ stepped up. You know, started the year at running back, and we moved some pieces around. But, you know, his yards per carry are way up there, you know, the past few weeks where we've had success. So DJ's a guy he's just got to touch the ball, whether it's throwing the ball or running it. It's a little bit easier to hand it off to him at times, you know, where teams, we throw the ball so much they start spreading out. Our offensive line does a good job when they get 5, 6 guys in the box, and DJ's able to make them pay for that. So he's one of our guys that we've got to get the ball to, whether it's at running back. We do a lot of just swing passes where we get him out in the flats and get the ball now. We do a lot of screen game that he's involved in. He's certainly a guy that's got to touch the ball.
Colin Knox also had 3 carries for 36 yards, so Colin showing up when you need him as well.
Yeah, Colin's a guy that, you know, he's been able to get reps as the year went on. He's extremely talented, but he's a guy still learning some of the plays, still learning some position. He's not playing as confident as we'd like for him to, but it's based on reps. You know, when you got guys like Nemo and DJ, he's not going to get as many reps as he'd like to because he's got some guys in front of him. But Knox does a really good job for us. He's talented, he's strong, he's fast, he hits the hole with some burst. So, you know, we're excited about him for the future for sure.
Had several guys, I think I mentioned on the radio during the game, that caught passes. You had Trey King with a TD. Xavier Coleman had a couple of catches. Isaiah Simpson with a reception. Jeb with 4 receptions, 119 yards and a touchdown. Cam Ray 3 receptions for 39 yards and a touchdown. So spreading the ball out quite a bit.
We've certainly got guys that can make plays. You know, DJ and Jeb kind of go to the top of that list, and we've got to find ways to get them the ball. So if DJ's touching it, I'll be thinking in my head, all right, where's DJ? Where's Jeb at? How do we get him on a matchup? How can we get him the ball? So those 2 guys, it kind of starts with them. But Isaiah Simpson, Xavier Coleman, those guys right there, Cam Ray entering the picture. You know, got Trey King's another guy that's getting reps. Those guys are all capable. They're all capable of making plays, which is why we stay in that spread personnel the majority of the game. It's not because we don't have faith in Hicks and Skinner to come in and bring some heavy packages. We do, but it's hard to take those skill guys off the field too. And especially when they're playing a lot of defense. You know, when Jaden Hicks is going to start every snap on defense, and Parker Skinner's the same way, we'll play some short yardage situation stuff with them. But it's just not who we are as far as offense in general.
Parker got a TD as well this past week. Averaging 133 yards per game rushing, 199 yards receiving per game. Have to give credit to the offensive line for that.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, we knew we were talented up front. Coach Stubblefield does a great job with them. I think, you know, halfway through the year we kind of took the cuffs off of him a little bit, and so, you know, we just got to get after it more. So we turned Colin loose a little bit on him. I think, you know, the expectation was raised even more. But those guys have responded well. You know, those guys worked as hard as anybody else at football practice. You know, they're down in the trenches. They're pushing the sled. They're working on steps or hand placement. It's just it's a lot of work out there for those big guys, and we're not successful without them. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, as good as Braden is, if the offensive line is not playing well, he may struggle. You know, so the fact that as we've gone through this stretch, they're getting better and better, I think puts our offense to put up those points and have that production.
Yeah, don't get a lot of accolades being a lineman, do you, Coach?
Well, I mean, we've got some trick plays we work on from time to time and gives them a little love, but the reality of it is if you ask Sam Morton, he wants yards, he wants touchdowns, he wants wins. They'll count up pancakes and knockdowns and whatnot. But, offensive line-wise, you want those guys to just get down and dirty and try to work, and, the team is ultimately going to benefit from that.
Well, let me interject here. Tell our audience what a pancake is.
Oh, pancake is putting a guy on his back. If you got Sam and another guy and they're blocking, it's just him knocking him back and putting him on the ground. So, they'll keep a tab or keep a record of pancakes and knockdowns. Knockdowns, if you cut them, if you do whatever to get them down, that's a knockdown. Pancakes is, blocking them, fitting up, and driving them back, putting them on the back. Okay. So, at practice, a lot of times you'll see them get up and they'll do this right here. Colin puts a quota on them. You got to have so many at each practice, so many in a game. If they don't reach their quota, they may have a little extra work to do with this or that or whatever. But so a lot of times they have one, they get up and that's one, that's two, whatever. So they'll keep a track of them. But that's just to emphasize the physicality of the line up there. If you're putting a guy on his back, you're obviously moving him. Obviously, he's not making a lot of tackles if you're doing that. So. But when an offensive lineman has fun, it's when he's dominating the game. When the offense is having success, but also when I feel like I can impose my will on that opponent, that's when they're having success. And you think a lot about offensive line, you don't think about selfish guys. Those guys, like you said, they don't get a lot of credit. Steve Campbell used to talk about, offensive linemen, so he wanted your daughter to date because they were going to take care of them. They weren't going to be selfish. They were going to do all that things. So I've listened to a lot of different his speeches that he's done, been clinics that he's done. If you want to be fired up about being an offensive lineman, go listen to Steve Campbell. It's always fun.
Also splitting duties or kicking duties with Grayson and Caleb George. We talk about it on the radio on Friday night or Thursday night whenever we play. Not a lot of teams have one kicker, much less two. We're very fortunate to have two that are really, really good kickers.
Both sophomores too, so we're not going to get rid of them for a couple of years. So, Grayson is extremely talented. We talk about Grayson a lot. He's battling a quad injury with his leg. And it's just kind of a thing that's lingered with there. He's done a lot of different things trying to push through. So I know he's frustrated. His family's frustrated. But he's doing a great job just doing what he can and pushing forward with it. But in that, Caleb has stepped up. Caleb is a guy that's been out there all year with us. He's been practicing, getting reps, got a strong leg. He's the goalie, so he punts the ball a lot in soccer. And when he's punting the ball, when he gets a hold of it the right way, it's special. I mean, he does a great job. He's probably a little bit better punting than he is kicking, but he's been perfect for field goals and extra points, and he did a really good job kicking off. So this past week, we told Grayson, we kind of put him on a score. If we got up 21, we were going to pull you because it's a huge deal, pinning the team deep, playing that field position game. But we're really pleased once we did that. Caleb started doing it. He did a really good job too. So absolutely, the fact that we've got not one but two of them that are that capable and that do that good a job, very few teams have that.
Yeah. Another strong performance by your defense this week. Had a shutout, had 3 interceptions, and as far as my calculations, we're only giving up 12 points a game. We've only given up 94 points this season.
Well, so what we like to talk about a lot is we want to average 34 points, and we want to scoring 34 points, and we want to give up no more than 17. So you're doubling your production right there. So the fact that we're beating both those, like you said, allowing 12 points a game, that's huge. I think I like to look at some of those stats we look at. You all need 62 and 0, I think, when they've given up less than 10 points. So that's something we talk about some. But they early in the year, defense was playing really well. Offense was kind of struggled at times. Now I feel like we're both playing well at this point, and so that's exciting. You want to be good in all 3 phases of the game. But if you can be a stingy defense, if you can keep people out of the end zone, man, it makes it so much easier. Obviously, you don't have to worry about scoring as many points, but also you're getting good field position a lot of times, and that factors in. But yeah, the guys we've got on the defensive line, I think it starts there. But the back end, I think we've got 12 interceptions on the year, something like that. That's big. Turnovers, we won the turnover battle just about every game all year. Guys like Jeb getting picks, DJ, McCollin Cameron, Jalen Nesbitt, those guys getting takeaways. And then we're as solid we are at linebacker, with guys like Parker Skinner, Parker Hicks, and Zion, guys that I've just got after and got better every week. But other things, we've stayed healthy this year. Other than Nemo, we've been pretty healthy. We've got some young guys that are banged up a little bit, but excited about the way the defense are playing. When they're playing well, we're going to have a chance to win.
kind of a shout out to, Coach Murphy on the defensive side and Coach Stubblefield, Colin on the offensive side for what we're seeing in front of us every week.
Yeah, basically our assistant coaches do a tremendous job. Offensively, it's Colin Stubblefield, it's Josh Kerbo, it's Lane Plunk. Those guys do a tremendous job. Defensively, it starts with Kendall Murphy. Kendall's our defensive coordinator. This is his second year in that role. You've got guys like Sean Sanks that does the defensive line, Ryan Summers and Coach Rolandis Cox do the linebackers, and then Kendall primarily does the secondary. You also got guys like Drew Davis and Khalil Patterson that are junior high coaches that are over here a lot. They're here on game nights. They're here if we go out of practice early or late or whatever. They're here a lot. So we've got a lot of help, and I got a lot of guys that are really good help that do a great job.
That's awesome.
And that's a big part of why we're successful is those guys, those assistant coaches.
Parker Skinner leading the team with 55 tackles. He had 4 this past week against South Pontotoc.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of tackles. They threw the ball a whole lot, didn't have very many completions, and the clock ran the second half. So was a quick night as far as tackles. Didn't have a lot of them, but Parker does a really good job for us. One of the things they did, they came out and threw the ball just about every play almost. They ran the ball very little. Threw hitches a lot. Coach Murphy had to adjust, get our guys to play a little bit closer to the box. But they did a good job. Anytime you're getting a shutout, you're doing a lot of things right. And so they're playing stingy, and D-lines play well, linebackers and secondary.
Jeb Bolin, 47 tackles, had an interception this past week against South.
Yeah, another one. Jeb's one of our players of the week this week. Just did a tremendous job. In the secondary, you can always count on him. He's aggressive when he comes down. He's a sure tackler. When he's in coverage, he does a great job. Obviously, getting an interception, but he does so much more. He holds for us. He's a kick returner, punt returner for us, and then he's one of our leaders on the offensive side as well. So Jeb, we don't want to go into a game without him for sure.
We talked about DJ on the offensive side. He's also got 40 tackles, had 4 against South Pontotoc this past week.
Yeah, DJ's another player of the week this week. Just DJ's athleticism is the first thing. He's so fast, he's strong for his size, and just gets after it. One thing that we talked to DJ a lot about is not getting his eyes where they're not supposed to be. I enjoyed this past week. We're on the sideline, the Stars are out of the game, and he's yelling at one of the younger guys about, you're in Rob right now. Keep your eyes, don't get him out of the backfield. Pay attention to the number 2 guy. And I turned around and said, DJ, did you hear that? Well, make sure you know that, because that's one of the things we talked to him a lot about. But I really enjoyed our older guys encouraging our younger guys Friday night, coaching them up, getting after them, being positive with them. That means a lot to those younger guys, and it means a lot to this coaching staff. So it was fun to see those guys do that.
Some other guys that we don't see every week that got some tackles this week. Parker Hicks had 4 against South. Will Hardy had 5 tackles against South. Cade Pipkin 3 against South, and Keaton Young with 5 against South.
So you talked about Keaton Young, you talked about Cade Pipkin, and you talked about Will Hardy. A lot of those tackles, those guys, some of them did come on defense, but a lot of them, those are special teams guys for us. That Cade and Keaton are on a lot of our special teams. Will Hardy is a young guy that rotates in. So those guys flying around on kickoff especially is a huge deal. And then, like I said, Keelan and Cade get a lot of work on defense too. So the depth that those guys provide, both on special teams and on defense, is critical to any team's success. So those guys are important to us.
Some other guys that kind of stuck out this past week. Cooper Wallace, another freshman, had an interception this week. Donovan Simpson, a freshman, got some playing time. Travaris Pope, another freshman that got some playing time. Javon Smith, sophomore. Sam Mallett, Devon Harris, Alan Romero. We had several guys that got some good playing minutes this week.
And one thing that I've said, we talked about us being here for 7 years. We wanted consistency. We didn't want to have that year that you fell off and won 2 to 3, 4 games, whatever. We wanted to consistently be one of the teams playing for the division. And that is done by depth and younger guys being developed and younger guys coming in. So when we have a game where we're getting up and we're getting younger guys in there, to see them have success, to see the JV team be undefeated this year, those are clues and those are hints to what's going on as far as a development standpoint and a talent standpoint that's coming. So you don't have to worry as much about losing some of those key guys when you got guys coming up. So we're excited about those guys. We're excited about them getting success. They work hard just like these older guys do at practice. They don't always get their name in the paper. So when they do, it's exciting for them. And like you said, Cooper Wallace is going to be a really good football player. 3J is going to be a guy that's going to play a lot for us. A lot of young guys are going to get to play a lot of football here at New Albany.
I want to reiterate, 12 points per game, and we scored 149 just in the last 3 games. Pretty good success.
Yeah, well, like I said, a few weaker opponents, the lower end of our division. Senatobia was the upper end of it, and we're able to get a win there. But I think what you've seen is these guys just executing. They're doing well. They're making plays, and they're doing what they're supposed to. Not a lot of mistakes out there those last 3 weeks, and we want that to carry over into Friday night versus Ripley and on into the playoffs, because the team that's going to play discipline, the team that's going to limit mistakes, are going to win a lot of football games.
District championship T-shirts I saw were on sale. I got me one, and I think my wife got one. The girls got some.
Well,
so
it was something we were going to do it for the team. The booster club's going to buy our guys and our coaches one, but certainly we wanted to open it up to anybody else that wanted one, and so I know a bunch of people have been buying them, so we're excited about that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take it to a break and come back and have a little discussion on our opponent this week, the Ripley Tigers. Always a rivalry game there. New Albany and Ripley, it's going to be a tough-fought game, but we're going to take it to a break.
It's finally game time. The smell of the fresh cut grass, the sound of the drums as the band gets ready to perform, and of course the roar of the crowd as our hometown New Albany Bulldogs enter the field. Jody Walls and Brady Brock with Gumtree Mortgage here in New Albany remember those days and agree they were some of the best. They also want your mortgage experience to be the best as well. They pride themselves on excellent customer service and establishing a personal connection with their clients. They also have the knowledge and programs to fit your mortgage needs. So whether you're building, buying, or refinancing your current home, they want to help. Call them and set up an appointment today. Jody Walls and Brady Brock with Gumtree Mortgage. Let them help make your dreams come true. Go Dogs!
I'd like to welcome you back to Inside New Albany Football. Coach, we got Ripley Tigers on the road this week.
Yeah, it's rivalry week. I know everybody's excited when we play Ripley. Last year they came over here undefeated. It was probably one of the bigger wins we've had in that 7 years that we've been here. We came out, we were aggressive, we hit them in the mouth, and ended up winning that game. But this year, it's a new year. Now we're coming into it undefeated. We don't want to fall off like
That's
that, right? But it's important to our guys. One, they want to finish the season undefeated. It's a rivalry week. So the expectation is for us to have a great week of practice this week and come out and play well.
This is the 75th anniversary of the New Albany Ripley game. Ripley leads at 37-35 and 2 ties. So the last 10 games, it's 5-5. So it's been kind of even over the years.
Yeah, most of those rivalry games are. Pontotoc has been super close. Ripley's been close. They're not having as successful a year this year. I think they've got 2 wins. But they still got some talent out there, and a lot of their guys are playing some young guys that are going to be very talented. But you take it 1 year at a time, 1 game at a time. That's where we're at this week. It's Ripley week. We're going to give our guys chances to make plays on it because we know they can do that. And defensively, we want them to remain stingy. Ripley hasn't scored a lot of points this season. Offensively, they've struggled. We want to make sure we continue that.
Yeah, they're coming off a loss Amory 42-7 this past week.
Yeah, and Amory is a very good football team. They've got a running back and a quarterback that are a really good duo. They're good defensively. The Randall kid is a really good running back. But yeah, they struggled there. They're doing some different things offensively, but they always seem to go back to that wishbone stuff that Coach Lyles does. The 2 tight double wing set stuff, and that's just where they're comfortable. They will get us some spread. They've had some injuries this year also. 2 of their better players are not healthy right now. So any team that makes a big impact for. But we know they're going to play hard. We know that offensively that we're going to see a 4-3. I think good teams typically they play what they play and they get better at it each week. You make adjustments, but you don't drastically make changes. So they've shown that they're a 4-3 defense. They're going to play a lot of cover 4. They're going to be off. I think a lot of that's to do with they've got some young guys, So we got to come out and just execute, take what they give us, and create matchups. That's what our offense is about. Braden getting the ball to who needs it, trying to call plays that gives our guys a chance to be successful. So I like the way we match up against them. I think from a defensive standpoint, they're big up front. They've got all 4 of their defensive linemen are seniors. and they're led by a linebacker, number 24, that's a really good player that's in the box. So number 3 is an outside linebacker that's a really fast player. So got a lot of talent still.
Yeah, you mentioned seniors. They had 20 or over 20 last year, so it's very tough to come back from when you lose 20 guys, and most of them were starters.
Yeah, that's what you say, and very good seniors too. They were a really good football team last year. Had a lot of guys that graduated, so they're replacing a lot of those guys. They've been really good in junior high football the last couple of years. That really good class. They're now 9th graders. So we know they're coming, and I know Coach Lyles and those guys will do a good job getting them prepared and ready. I think, like I said, from a defense standpoint, it's going to start up front for us. Can we control those big guys? Can we get push? And can we protect Braden?
Yeah, you mentioned some of their players have gotten hurt. I think Brooks was one of the players that got a knee that's injured. One of the better players on his team this year.
Yeah, Brooks is a guy that's played linebacker for him, and he's been one of those running backs. Just a really talented young man that played well last year and has been playing well this year up until his injury. They also had another guy that was really involved last year and this year in 7-on-7 stuff. Was an Aiden Wilson guy that was just could really run. So he's not playing at this point, I think, based on injuries. So that's 2 guys that you take 2 of our guys off, we're going to struggle as well. So, but like I said, we know they've got some young guys. We know that Coach Lyles, they're going to have them ready. Coach Rico McDonald, who was spent here last year with us, is over there. So you got to go into it. You can't let up any week, and you just got to make sure we're prepared and ready.
Yeah, we didn't give Rico any secrets or anything last year.
Well, I like to tell people we're not doing secret stuff on offense. We're trying to get really good at it. So, what we do offensively, we may add a piece here and there. Braden Shettles may come in with a play. We've done that this year where Braden watches a lot of film. He comes in with something that we think will work. We put it in. But we're going to try to put our guys in position to be successful without sacrificing being too broad where you don't get good at anything. So they get film. They know what we're going to do. They know what we're good at. But you got to stop it. That's ultimately our mentality on offense is, what are you trying to stop? Where are you trying to put your guys, line them up? Are you going to load the box, stop the run game, or we're going to try to get the ball out of there quick? Are you going to back up so we can't get over the top of you? We're going to try to nickel and dime them down the field. And then when you change something, we're going to try to change as well. So, like I said, there's no secrets to what we're doing offensively. We're just trying to be really good at it.
Yep. Playoff picture's starting to kind of come together a little bit. I know we'll host since we're the division champion. So, who are you looking at that we possibly?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of divisions are kind of wound down. You kind of know where they're going to be right now. We should play Greenwood here next week. It'll be a Friday night game. Greenwood will have to travel to us. We've gone to them before, but I don't know that they've come to New Albany, at least not in our 7 years. So excited about playing them, excited about getting to host a playoff game. Yep. We know they'll be an athletic team that'll run well, but hopefully we can just be a little bit better.
It was great sitting here going into the last game of the season knowing you're going to host a playoff game next week, and kind of looking, I know you did some things this week about the atmosphere and everything. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we Booster Club for years, we talked with the band and the administrators and whatnot, just trying to make it as good an atmosphere as we can. One thing we talked about and we're going to try to do this week is put some tents down on the field. There's going to be 10 spots set up. I think we posted it on social media, and in an hour, those 10 were sold, and those spots were there. Cool. Just to kind of, like I said, make a better environment for some fans, but also get some energy down there near the field for the crowd, or for the players. Anything we can do to make Friday night at Kids Field the place to be are things we want to do. So we're going to try that. The Booster Club's bought some tents. They're going to be set up for them. People are going to be able to come and enjoy the game. They'll get there at 5:30. They can tailgate, and then they'll be able to be out there, the whole game. So whoever's on the track for the radio, make sure they stay over there with the game. Don't let Mr. Conley be dabbling with the area over there with the tents and whatnot. So
who's going to be down there this week?
I can't tell. I can't tell you.
Well, one thing, shout out to our fans. They came out all year and supported your team, and I think the kids appreciate it. We all appreciate it. And hey, we're sitting here 8-0, fishing roll into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, the fans, community, that goes without saying. But we live in a great place, a great area, part of our country, part of our state, and part of our county. New Albany is a great place. We're supported by our school and our community. And when things are going well like this, just the people and the parents, the community, everybody that's enjoying it, it makes it so much more enjoyable for these guys, for our coaches, it's a great situation. We're proud to be a part of it.
Appreciate your time, Cody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. Again, I'm Paul Henry and David Good, and we got a special group of guys this year. You know, they're showing out every week for us, and come out and support them. And like I said, our show today is brought to us by
Gumtree Mortgage, Brady Brock and Jody Walls. Both those guys, again, they support us every week, just like a lot of our community does. But thankful for that sponsorship.
Yep. Thank you, and go Bulldogs.